Hello, Dr. Dana Tassone here with individuals involved in HFT 4295, and today's discussion is about Chapter 4, the last of the knowledge chapters in the text, and this chapter brings together the first three, and it's all about systems, development, and structure. It's really a good chapter for an individual to synthesize because it will really add to an individual's management repertoire. And it starts off with a discussion about systems thinking, what it is and why it's important. And what it is it's the concept of the interdependent relationships between the very macro view all the way to the macro view of things, organizations, people, and management systems. And the concept of systems thinking is the process of interdependency, which is explained in the chapter. And it starts off with a preface that talks about the concept of theory, practice, and tools, the relationship of those things. And this chapter will bring those together, theoretical to practitioner to tools used in the practice of management. Theories usually come from science and philosophy, and how things happen is the concept of management, which is a practice, not an academic discipline. And then the actual tools are the things that we use in our management repertoire, stuff that I already told you about. And it gives you a basic overall description of systems theory, general systems theory. And the basis of general systems theory is that all things in the universe are open systems. They're members of open systems, which means they are interdependent on other subsystems and other macro systems in the environment. And it goes on to discuss the difference between mechanistic systems and organic systems. And I think I talked to you about that quite a bit before. And the thing about systems thinking is that it's not linear, it's non-linear. Linear systems go from point A to point B to point C. For instance, when we talk about productivity, the middle of the equation is inputs, transformation process, and outputs. And that's a linear system. And that works in mechanistic types of environments. But it doesn't work in organic environments because there are surrounding invisible systems, such as meaning systems and learning systems, that are non-linear in nature. We can't, and the chapter is going to tell you, we can't manage in our industry from a linear perspective because it's just so complex, as I've said numerous times before. So there's a discussion about that. There are diagrams that show you that. And it goes on for a further description of non-linear systems. If you look at figure 4.4, it shows you the inputs, transformation, and the outputs types of processes, and you can see the various functions that are involved in that. And that's a discussion about functional systems. And I go on to describe the concept of nonlinearity and the concept of learning systems. Learning really is a system. The definition of learning is the enactment of permanent change. You learn something and it changes you. It might change you just a little bit, but everything you learn changes you in some part. And that change, what makes you really a different person. You're not the same person before you started learning. And then I go on to talk about global learning organizations and lifelong learning and career development. There's an interesting model in here. You know, lifelong learning. Hopefully you've already come to the conclusion in your own lives that you're going to embrace lifelong learning for all the rest of your years, as you have before. And because we never stop learning. When you stop learning, you stop changing. When you stop changing, you stop adapting. If you stop adapting, you stop evolving. And then you stay the same person as you were before. I think somewhere along the line I told you about the first time a person goes off to college, leaves his or her high school friends, and learns what he or she learns in that first year and comes home on a break and looking forward to seeing their friends. Their friends haven't learned. They've been staying in the same routine that they were in when you were in high school, and you come to the conclusion that these people they're not, I don't have so much in common with these people anymore. And it's not them, it's you. You've changed. You've adapted. You've grown. You've evolved. So there's a model in there that is called the work-life development model. It was developed a little while ago, and it shows the stages that a person goes through in his or her work life all the way through retirement. And the thing to remember here, and when you look at this model and you think of people that you know, you'll see the people that represent different categories in this developmental model. Why should you know this? Because if you know the mentality, the thinking, and the place in terms of the development a person is in, then you hold the key to helping him or her get motivated, be motivated to do things. You know how to reach that person. All people are different, and part of it has to do with what stage of development they're in. And then I go on to talk about the service enterprise strategies and the structure of those and how they differ from linear types of organizations, which are really manufacturing-based organizations. And as I've been saying all along, that we work in a very intimate, complex type of industry. I've always said that if you can manage in our industry, you can manage easily in any industry. I put our people up against business graduates of any university any day, because the training that you have, if you apply it and you prove yourself to be successful in our industry, you can go into any industry and easily be just as successful. And then it comes back to earth. The discussion kind of comes back to earth. And it goes into a discussion of, it takes a look at the hotel industry, for example, and it takes a look at the structures within the hotel. So in this chapter so far, we've talked about systems and the open systems model and systems thinking, interdependency, and then we went into development, which is culminates in the work-life development model, lifelong learning, those types of things. And then finally, we get into structure, which is very, very straightforward, very easy to see. And I give you many, many diagrams of the hierarchy within the hotel, resort, lodging industry, the assumption there being full-service hotels. In fact, I give you an example that precedes the diagrams that I give you to show you that what kind of operation we're talking about. We're not talking about a limited service operation in this example. We're talking about a full-service luxury type of operation. It runs through all of the divisions, all of the departments. It identifies the hierarchy of management, all those things that we've discussed so far in this course. And then we talk about putting it all together, because it's no good if you can't put it together. And so I give you examples of that. And so what we've done is we've think of it as a big circle. We stuff chapter 1 in there, we stuff chapter 2 in there, we stuff chapter 3 in there, and now we say, instead of deducing all of that, what we do is we embellish all of that, and we come up with a synthesized model of management thinking. The two things that managers really rely on for success is systems thinking and strategic thinking. We've talked about strategic thinking. We'll talk about strategies in detail in the future, but the viewpoint, systems thinking, is a viewpoint. It's how you see relationships. Everything is about relationships. A relationship between a subunit, which could be as small as an individual, to a macro unit, which could be the universe in general. And so we're just about out of time. In short, that's the information that's in Chapter 4. We've completed the part on knowledge in this particular course, and we now have the knowledge base, or reinforced existing knowledge bases, so that we can proceed into specific practices. So I'll see you in the next